because this is also a celebration of student leadership. So before I even take any comments from the panel in terms of their opening thoughts and their reflections, I'd like to do this. The list we managed to pull out was not comprehensive, but at least in 1978, the student body was led by a man called Kofi Totobi-Kwachi. Sounds familiar, from St. Augustine's College, who later became minister for many things. Still a doyen in the green half of Ghana politics. 79 was a man called Stephen Ekufu. 81, there was Kofi Dua Adonting. He led Ghana Post at some point, a legal practitioner. There's also Kweku Pencil in 87, because between 82 to 86, my research could not pull that off before the show. I'm sure in the course of the show, we'll get people filling those gaps for us. 1990 was Kofi Ablodepe Caesar. 91, Ya Ishag Al-Hassan. 92 becomes very easy to remember. Paul Ansansari, DG formerly of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, contested the Sojaman seat a few times for MPP. Most people call him Paul Ansansari in 1992. 93 was George K.T. Odro. I believe he's the same professor of education who's heading the Education Review Committee. He went to UCC. He's a professor of education. He was NUGS president in 93. Of course, Emmanuel Newman was 94, 95. 1996 had a certain Haruna Idrisu. We'll talk about him later. Some of my mates credit him with cost sharing, for agreeing to cost sharing. And that made him an anathema to many students for many years. Professor White will explain some of that later. Of course, now we know his accomplishments in politics. Very interestingly, he's followed by Adam Mohammed Amin, who a few of you may know as a former Minister of Finance, MP for Karaga. He was NUGS president in 1997. Of course, within those periods, a lot of SRC presidents, if we go into the names, we'll not finish, you know. But let's just deal with the NUGS president for now. 98 was Joseph Adongo. Joseph Adongo, because that was the heat of I think the second Mobara struggle, where you had the demonstration, I think the final proper struggle before the student front took a turn. So Joseph Adongo led that Mobara struggle because I was in SS3 at the time. Then 1999, Emmanuel J. Thompson, they call him Domi. He was from Legon Hall. He contested a certain Paul Adomochiri, won a very contentious election. The result was announced on Radio Universe, and I was listening in 99, waiting to write my entrance exam. So Ajay Thompson, who later became the MC for Esikuma Odobim Brakwa. In the year 2000, the student front was led by Frank Anodompre, who we now know as the Minority Chief Whip MP for Nsawam Adoejiri, and a former product of Bishop Herman School as well. Then 2001, Edward Bauer, former MP for Bongo, who is now the DG of GOIL. At the same time, Edward Bauer was NUGS president. Professor White, who's sitting here, was SRC vice president of the University of Ghana, Legon. In the year 2002, Edward Kofi Omane-Boama was the NUGS president. And we put an asterisk on that because it was very epochal. I think that was the first or second time that all students came together to elect. It used to rotate so that if UCC had it, it would go to Legon and go to Tech. But I think it was either Bauer or Omane-Boama who became the first to be elected. You can contest anybody. It's called all play all. His tenure was followed by the tragic tenure of Abdul Hanan Prince Adam. I was a student broadcaster at the time. He died in a horrific accident. We think we have the front page of the NUGS bulletin at the time. He and another person in a road accident. We lost him. So he couldn't finish his term. And there was another election where Ken Abuchi became the NUGS president. Ken was also involved in the USAG, which president later became Mohammed Ibrahim Mutala. So Mutala became USAG president within that same period. 2004 was Abu Fogo, became the NUGS president. 2005, a certain Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa became NUGS president, who will later become member of parliament and Ghana's foreign minister, who's now celebrating his birthday today, a birthday describes as a very bitter one. In the 2002-2003 period, the first election that Omane-Boama won, the medical students were united behind him, and the president of medical students at both Kolebu and nationally was Dr. Soji Sojitete, a close friend of Omani Boma. He's also here with us today. Just running through quickly the rest of the names. 2006, there was one William Yamwa, taken over from Okujeto Ablakwa. And then 2007, Kweku Tuohu Bombason. 2008, Ishmael Chinebo Akodia. 2009, Wanda Madilo, a key member of NDC. He appears on the City ChannelOne Breakfast Daily regularly. Wanda Madilo, 2009. Then we also have Abuchi Efriye Anthony, 2010. Hamza Suhini, 2010. After Abuchi was removed, Hamza Suhini is also known. He appears regularly on this network. Peter Koji, 2011. Osman Ayariga, also 2011. He was on the bulletin before we came on. And then the list goes on. I'm going to cut it around 2013, not because these are not important, but because of time. We have Samuel Bimfo Dakwa, 2013. Prosper Jichi, 2014. On and on and on the list goes. Now, why are we situating this in the context of student leadership? Because I have said on many occasions that Omani Bama represented the best of the student leadership experiment. He was a leader's leader, and we've seen what he's become. Let